Today we are going to look at the differences between our dye-based and pigment-based ink. I get this question all the time, what's the differences and why would we have both? So I thought I'd do a quick little video tutorial to show you the benefits and the features of both of these. They're great for different things. So let's start with our dye-based ink. This is a water-based ink and our new ink pads have a lovely design that allow you to open them easily. And this is best for everyday scrapbooking and card making. Easy cleanup, quick dry, great for your everyday project, photo safe and all that good stuff. And you can see you get a great image when you stamp with the dye-based ink. Let me just clean that off. So now I'm going to show you what happens with the pigment ink. This is slightly different. So our dye-based inks come with reinkers and you can refill the ink color when you find it's getting low. Our pigment inks are more of a consumable item. You just throw them out when you're done with them and you can repurchase a new one. So to color on these, we ink them up a little differently just based on their size. And pigment is a thicker ink. So you definitely have to be a little more careful. You can see possibly that I've got quite a bit of ink on there. You tend to get a more vibrant color with pigment. Slightly different shade, so that's both with the bashful ink. Pigment is permanent, so if I was to get this on my clothing, I would have a very hard time cleaning this out. Pigment is a pigment-based ink. This is great for projects where you want something to be sitting out, maybe on your wall, because it won't fade in the sun. Whereas this over years may fade, but I have things that have been on my wall in the sun for 2 or 3 years and they're still fine, so it takes quite a long time. This is permanent. Great for stamping on fabric, and it's the best ink to use if you want to color in a colored image with alcohol markers. Now, one of the things with pigment that you need to be aware of is it does need a drying time and it tends to be a bit harder to clean. So we have this stamp scrubber that came out a few years ago when our pigment inks arrived for this very reason. And you really notice in the cleanup the differences between the two inks. So even though I've cleaned that, there's still some pigment ink on there. It really is best to give it a good scrub, but then to take it off the block and rinse it under a tap with some warm water and dish soap, and then let it air dry, and that will really clean your pigment ink out of your stamps. It won't hurt it if it looks like that. Sometimes mine look like that for a very long time, but if you want to care for your stamps and keep them the best possible, that's what you want to do. Otherwise, pigment and dye, they're both great inks, which is why we carry both of them. Very different purposes. So I hope you found this informative, and if you have any questions, just comment below in the comment section. Thanks.